Hello, everybody. Well, today we're going to talk about what we always like to talk about, how to actually make the law of attraction, the law of assumption, these wonderful manifesting concepts actually work in your life, not in someone else's life, not on some sensationalist YouTube marketer's channel, not from comments from anonymous people where you don't know if you trust them, but how to make it actually work in your life. This is what I specialize in helping people with when it comes to these ideas. If you don't know who I am for some reason, my name's Tim. I've been doing this for a long time now. I've written multiple books about integrating these principles, books like Relax More, Try Less, which specifically deals with Neville Goddard's teachings. Books like Simple Self-Healing is something I edited about Emile Coué's teachings, and just books I've written on my own, like The Law of Attraction Simplified and Money Your Friend, which are very practical, oriented, actionable bits of advice that you can utilize to better have these concepts work in your life. Now, this is the thing. The way the law of attraction is explained online is not how it's probably going to work in your life long term. Okay. It's just not. If you're familiar with this channel, you already know that. But at the same time, people don't really understand how to make it work. And I really find it interesting how difficult it is for people to get these concepts to make sense to them in a way that feels sustainable. People don't get it, and they go from technique to technique, and they don't feel satisfied. They don't feel satisfied in terms of manifesting, a better job or better relationships or better health. Stuff does not work the way it is supposed to work, according to all these YouTubers and people on Reddit and even many books. It's not that straightforward or simple. This channel, a lot of the work I do is the alternative to that. And I'm happy to let you know that at least for the month of April, actually starting next Monday, which is March 31st, I'm going to have a small mastermind where we talk about these ideas in a way that actually is going to work for you. So you can integrate these concepts directly into your life. Because that's all that's really important. The theory doesn't mean shit. What means shit is when you're on a call with a few people, or on a call with me one-on-one, and we're going to go over that in a second too, because that's going to be part of this mastermind. And you're talking about your situation. People are actually listening to you as an individual, not as like some dogmatic theory and then give some bullshit advice, but are listening to you as an individual and listening to your situation. And then the advice or the stories that you hear those people tell you, or that you hear me tell you, directly apply to your situation. Tell you what you can do next, practically, pragmatically, that day, that week, that month, to actually shift your life, to shift your outlook. Because if you shift your outlook, your life is going to change. That's real LOA. And ain't no one really talking about it online all that much. Obviously, some people are, but it's relatively rare. That's what this mastermind, that's what my coaching always is. We talk about how can we shift things now? How can we actually do that? Now, that might involve certain techniques, but if you think it's just about techniques, you are completely missing the point. And if you made it this far in this video, you know it's not just about techniques. It's about using your imagination, truly using your imagination, your mind in a new way. And techniques are not enough to do that usually. And quite frankly, not having help and support makes it so it's usually the advice you hear is not enough. It still baffles me how few people relatively want real support in the law of attraction and law of assumption space. They think they can do it on their own. And guess what? You can do it on your own. But it's usually going to be a lot easier and take you much less time if you have support, whether it's a group, whether it's a coach, whether it's even through, different modalities. They're not explicitly LOA oriented, energy healing or therapy or, some other kind of self-help or self-improvement course or something like that. But especially if you have someone who actually knows about how to integrate these LOA concepts directly into your life, as I do, or you're in a group where people are serious about integrating them and not talking big theory just for the sake of talking big theory and sounding fancy, but actually want to change their life and want to help you change their life, because change your life as well as changing their own, because what you want for someone else is then reflected back to you in a good way, the golden rule. If you have something like that, it supercharges the process of change, of changing your perspective, of shifting how you feel, of shifting your default state, frequency, vibe, whatever you want to call it. This is the real work. This is what's fun. Yet people are scared to do it a lot of time. I really don't want you to be scared. I want you to feel comfortable. I'm all about people feeling comfortable. Because if we feel comfortable, if we feel relaxed enough, non-judgmental enough, we will allow ourselves to change. Because we won't be so scared that we feel like we can't. We won't feel so ashamed that we feel like we can't. Usually in this community, people feel scared or ashamed, and they feel like if they try to change and do something quote unquote unsuccessfully, they're going to get lambasted or gaslit by the community, which is awful. It's exactly the opposite of how this usually should work, which is you try to change, you quote unquote are unsuccessful or fail initially, and you just, you reconfigure, you repivot, and you try again. And something happens and maybe you fail again, then you try again. And you can be supported throughout that whole process. You should be supported throughout that whole process and realize that your failures are leading to success. That is what this stuff is all about pragmatically a lot of the time. Virtually no one's talking about it. I really want you to understand this. If you have not read my book, The Law of Attraction Simplified, email me, info@radicalcounselor.com, and I'll send you a PDF of it, because I want you to understand this. I want you to understand that not only is it okay to quote unquote fail, but that failing is an essential part of this process, this imaginative creative process. And that is why this mastermind is happening, coming into being. And I have no idea, how long we're going to do this mastermind for. Because to be frank with you, the people I work with usually want to do one-on-one coaching. And when I do a group, the reason I don't do more groups is because it's never clear to me how many people actually want group coaching. A lot of the relationship coaching, quote unquote SP coaching, I've done with Marvin Daniels over the last year or so has shown me that group coaching, when it comes to these concepts, can be hugely beneficial if people want to do it. And I know this mastermind is not going to be about SP coaching relationships. It's going to be about everything else. Obviously, relationships play a part of that, but this isn't about getting a girlfriend or boyfriend. This is about the relationships you have with your partner or with your coworkers or with your family, as well as the relationship you have with obviously yourself, but the relationship you have with yourself in regards to your job, in regards to your finances, in regards to your health, in regards to your general outlook. This mastermind is going to help you change and shift your outlook. Okay. Again, if you're familiar with my channel, this should all be make complete sense. but I have no idea how long I'm going to run this mastermind for beyond April. This very well might just be a 1 month thing, or it might be long-term. So what I'm offering for March 31st, Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern, that's going to be the first session. And then probably every Monday, at least once a week, probably every Monday at that same time in April. So probably 5 sessions overall, group sessions, is, you'll have a small mastermind group to be supported in weekly throughout for the March 31st and throughout April. You also will have one private session with me. Okay. So you just get to talk to me one-on-one for like 45 minutes. Okay. Now, usually a private 45-minute session with me costs $200. Okay. The cost of this mastermind, which includes that session and also 5 group sessions, is going to be $199. So less than a normal session with me. You're going to also get the mastermind. And you're also going to get a WhatsApp group chat that we can have with everybody in the mastermind to bounce ideas and support each other throughout the week. This is, this energetically feels right to me to offer this in April, but this is a very good deal. I emailed my, my newsletter group, my mailing list yesterday, and I said, this might be too good a deal. I don't know how comfortable I am offering this long-term at this price, but I might feel comfortable offering this as a month-to-month thing where you get one private session with me and, 4 or 5 group calls a month at $199. We'll see how the first month goes. What I can pretty much guarantee you is there's going to be tremendous value if you take part in this group. And all of the group calls are going to be recorded if you can't make it live. And you can even ask questions to me via email beforehand, and I'll answer your questions on the group call. So even if you can't make any of the calls live, you'll get the recordings. You'll also get the private one-on-one session with me. It's a ridiculous deal. It's a very good deal if you're serious about applying and integrating this stuff. And yeah, I don't know how many of you are, but if you are, reach out to me, and I'll answer any of the other questions you might have about the mastermind. I'll put a link below if you want to sign up. You can just sign up directly as well, and then I'll be in touch in terms of specifics, the Zoom link for next Monday. And yeah, this is, if you want a low-cost opportunity to work with me, not just once, but work with me basically for a month and be in a supportive group. Supportive, I really want to emphasize that, because the groups I run we do not tolerate bullshit. Okay. You've heard Marvin and I talk about some of these other groups that are just highly toxic in the LOA community. This is going to be the opposite of that. I do not tolerate that stuff. This is going to be a group that practices the golden rule with each other. Yeah, so I'm excited to offer this. We'll see what it looks like exactly, but one thing I can pretty much promise you is that you will get tremendous value by being in this group over the next month or so. So I hope to see you there. If you have any questions, reach out to me. And until next time, be well.